And what if I told you that there's a specific psalm that, when recited at 6 a.m., can break through every financial barrier preventing you from prospering? Would you believe it? Because that's exactly what happens when you combine the faith of Psalm 46 with Napoleon Hill's revolutionary principles. Get ready to discover how to transform your financial life using the power of strategic prayer and focused mind. Most people wake up every day facing the same financial worries: overdue bills, paychecks that don't last until the end of the month, dreams that seem impossible. But what few know is that there's a tested and proven formula that can change this reality definitively. Napoleon Hill discovered that the most successful millionaires in history had something in common. They started their day with a specific spiritual practice, aligning their minds with abundance from the earliest hours. Psalm 46 isn't just a religious text, it's a declaration of war against scarcity. When you recite, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble," at 6 a.m., you're programming your subconscious to see opportunities where others see only problems. Hill always said that the mind that connects with infinite power in the morning attracts infinite resources throughout the day. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how your first thoughts in the morning set the tone for your entire day? If you wake up thinking about debt, your mind will seek confirmations of scarcity. But if you wake up declaring that God is your source of prosperity, your mind will align with possibilities of abundance. It's like tuning a radio to the right frequency. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you have an important work meeting today. If you wake up thinking, "I hope everything goes well," your energy is one of anxiety. But if you wake up reciting, "God is my strength," you enter that meeting with unshakable confidence. This difference in energy is perceived by others and opens doors that previously seemed closed. Now here's your first practical exercise. Tomorrow, set your alarm for 6 a.m. Before even touching your phone, before thinking about the day's problems, recite the complete Psalm 46. Feel each word, declare with conviction that God is your refuge and strength. Observe how your energy changes, how your first decisions of the day become more assertive. Are you feeling this transformation happening within you right now? Are you realizing that maybe you've spent years waking up with the wrong mindset? If this makes sense to you, hit that like button now, and let's continue exploring these secrets that can revolutionize your financial life. And this leads us to the first great principle: strategic faith destroys invisible barriers that block your prosperity. And we'll talk about that next. The first truth you need to understand is that most of your financial barriers aren't real. They exist only in your mind. Napoleon Hill discovered that 95% of the obstacles preventing people from getting rich are created by their own limiting thoughts. He called these fear phantoms that haunt the human mind. When you recite Psalm 46 at 6 a.m., you're doing something revolutionary. You're replacing fear phantoms with the certainty of divine protection. The phrase, "God is our refuge and strength," isn't just a religious declaration. It's mental reprogramming that dissolves the invisible barriers you've created yourself. Hill always taught that the mind cannot distinguish between a real belief and a belief repeated with conviction. When you declare every day at 6 a.m. that God is your source of security, your subconscious mind begins to act as if this were an absolute truth. Result: you stop sabotaging yourself. Stop seeing problems where solutions exist. Think about the last investment you didn't make because of fear. Maybe it was a course, a business, a financial application. What really stopped you? It wasn't lack of money, it was lack of faith in your ability to prosper. If you had absolute certainty that God is your strength, that your success is guaranteed, you would have made that decision with courage. Here's a real example. I met a businessman who had been broke for 3 years. He was afraid to invest even in office supplies. When he started reciting Psalm 46 at 6 a.m., something changed. Within 2 weeks, he closed the biggest contract of his life. Why? Because he stopped negotiating with fear and started negotiating with the certainty of someone who has God himself as a business partner. Now, your second practical exercise: identify what your biggest financial barrier is right now. It could be fear of investing, fear of asking for a raise, fear of starting a business. Then, tomorrow at 6 a.m., while reciting Psalm 46, specifically declare that God is stronger than that fear. Repeat, God is my strength against your specific barrier. Can you feel how this declaration changes your energy? Can you perceive that maybe you've been fighting against enemies that don't exist? Strategic faith isn't just believing in God, it's using that faith as a weapon against your own mental limitations. And this leads us to the second fundamental principle: the right timing amplifies the power of financial prayer. And we'll talk about that next. The second secret that can transform your financial life is understanding that 6 a.m. isn't a random time. It's the moment of greatest receptivity for your subconscious mind. Napoleon Hill discovered that there's a golden hour when the brain is most open to absorbing new mental programming, and that hour is right after waking up. When you recite Psalm 46 at 6 a.m., you're taking advantage of a mental state called theta waves, where your mind is extremely receptive to positive suggestions. Hill always said that millionaires know the first hour of the day is the most important because that's when you program your mind for success or failure. Think of it this way: your subconscious mind functions like a computer. During the night, it processes all the information from the previous day. When you wake up at 6 a.m., it's clean, ready to receive new commands. If you grab your phone and read bad news, you're programming scarcity. If you recite Psalm 46, you're programming abundance. Science proves this. Studies show that the first 20 minutes after waking up are crucial for defining your emotional and mental state for the entire day. When you declare God is my strength early in the morning, you're creating an emotional anchor that will sustain you throughout the entire journey, especially during important financial decision moments. Here's a powerful example. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, has had a specific morning routine for decades. He wakes up early, reads, reflects, and only then starts making investment decisions. He understands that the morning mind is clearer, more focused, more connected to intuition. When you combine this with the faith of Psalm 46, you're creating an explosive combination. Now, your third practical exercise. For 1 week, try 2 different routines. 3 days, wake up and grab your phone immediately. Observe how you feel, how your decisions are. The other 3 days, wake up at 6 a.m. and recite Psalm 46 before doing anything else. Compare the difference in your energy, mental clarity, and confidence to make financial decisions. Are you starting to understand why so many successful people have specific morning rituals? Are you realizing that maybe you're wasting the most powerful moment of your day? The right timing isn't just about discipline, it's about maximizing your mind's power when it's most receptive to transformation. And this leads us to the third principle. Strategic repetition creates a new financial reality. And we'll talk about that next. The third secret that can revolutionize your financial life is understanding that repetition isn't just important, it's everything. Napoleon Hill discovered that the difference between the rich and the poor isn't in talent or luck, but in the consistency of thoughts and actions. When you recite Psalm 46 at 6 a.m. every day, you're creating what he called positive auto-suggestion. The subconscious mind doesn't judge whether information is true or false. It simply accepts what is repeated with frequency and emotion. When you declare daily, God is my strength, you're literally reprogramming your mind to believe that you are protected, that you are prosperous, that you have access to infinite resources. Hill always taught that faith is created through repetition. He said, faith is a state of mind, which may be induced by autosuggestion or repeated affirmation of orders to the subconscious mind. When you recite Psalm 46 once, you plant a seed. When you recite it for 30 consecutive days, you harvest a new mentality. Think about the difference between a drop of water and constant rain. One drop changes nothing, but constant rain can move mountains. Your financial declarations work the same way. If you declare once that God is your source of prosperity, it might inspire you for a few hours. If you declare it every day at 6 a.m. for a month, it becomes an unshakable conviction. Here's a real example. I met a woman who had been unemployed for 8 months. She started reciting Psalm 46 at 6 a.m. every day, specifically declaring that God would open job doors for her. On the 15th day, she received an unexpected call for an interview. On the 20th day, she was hired with a salary 40% higher than her previous one. Coincidence? No. Result of consistent mental programming. Now, your fourth practical exercise, make a 21-day commitment. Every day, without exception, at 6 a.m., recite the complete Psalm 46. It doesn't matter if you're traveling, sick, or in a hurry. During these 21 days, write down in a notebook one financial opportunity that arose during your day. It could be a business idea, an unexpected discount, a job offer. Observe how opportunities increase as the days pass. Are you feeling the power of this consistency? Are you realizing that maybe you've given up on important things in life due to lack of persistence? Share this video with someone who needs this mental shift, because strategic repetition isn't just about discipline, it's about creating a new financial identity. And this leads us to the fourth principle. Faith aligned with action multiplies results. And we'll talk about that next. The fourth secret that can transform your financial reality is understanding that faith without action is just fantasy, but faith with action is an unstoppable force. Napoleon Hill discovered that all the millionaires he studied had one common characteristic. They combined unshakable faith with specific and consistent actions. When you recite Psalm 46 at 6 a.m., you're not just praying, you're preparing to act with courage. The phrase, "God is my strength," should be followed by practical questions. What action will I take today to honor this belief? How will I demonstrate that I really trust in my prosperity? Hill always taught that true faith manifests through courageous decisions, not through passive hopes. When you declare that God is your strength, you're making a commitment. You're saying you'll act like someone who has the very creator of the universe as a financial partner. This means investing when others are afraid, starting businesses when others settle, learning when others get distracted. Think about the difference between two people who want to prosper. The first prays every day asking for money, but continues doing the same things, making the same decisions, maintaining the same habits. The second prays every day and then acts as if their prayer had already been answered. Which of the two do you think will prosper first? Here's a powerful example. I met a man who had been reciting Psalm 46 at 6 a.m. for 2 years, but his financial life wasn't changing. When I asked what he did after prayer, he said, "I go to work and hope God blesses me." I taught him that after prayer, he should make a list of 3 specific actions to increase his income. In 6 months, he tripled his earnings. The difference? He stopped just praying and started praying and acting. Now, your fifth practical exercise. After reciting Psalm 46 tomorrow at 6 a.m., take a sheet of paper and write 3 specific actions you can take today to improve your financial situation. It could be studying about investments, looking for extra income, negotiating a debt. Then execute at least one of these actions before noon. Repeat, I have faith and I act with faith. Are you feeling the difference between passive faith and active faith? Are you realizing that maybe you're waiting for a financial miracle without taking the necessary steps to receive it? Faith aligned with action isn't just about working hard. It's about working with the certainty that you're being guided toward prosperity. And this leads us to the fifth and final principle. Anticipatory gratitude accelerates the manifestation of abundance. And we'll talk about that next. The fifth and final secret that can definitively transform your financial life is a revolutionary discovery by Napoleon Hill: anticipatory gratitude. When you recite Psalm 46 at 6 a.m., you shouldn't just declare that God is your strength. You should thank Him for the financial blessings that haven't arrived yet, but that you're certain will come. Hill discovered that the most successful millionaires have a unique characteristic. They feel gratitude for achievements even before reaching them. They don't wait to have millions to feel grateful. They feel grateful and therefore attract millions. When you give thanks in advance, you're sending a powerful signal to the universe. I have already received. I have already conquered. I have already prospered. Anticipatory gratitude works because it aligns your mental vibration with abundance. When you recite, "God is my strength," and then thank Him for the opportunities that will arise today, you're programming your mind to see these opportunities when they appear. Your mind becomes a magnet for prosperity. Think about it. When you're genuinely grateful for something, how do you feel? You feel abundant, happy, confident. When you feel this way, what kind of decisions do you make? Better decisions, more courageous ones, more intelligent ones. When you feel scarce and worried, what kind of decisions do you make? Decisions based on fear, limitation, lack. Here's a transformative example. I met a businesswoman who was having serious financial problems. She started reciting Psalm 46 at 6 a.m. and then specifically thanked, "Thank you, God, for the $50,000 I will receive this month through unexpected opportunities." It seemed crazy, but she did it with genuine faith. In 45 days, she received exactly $52,000 through 3 opportunities that appeared out of nowhere. Now, your sixth and final practical exercise. After reciting Psalm 46 tomorrow at 6 a.m., spend 5 minutes in anticipatory gratitude. Specifically, thank for the financial opportunities that will arise today, for the prosperity that's coming, for the doors that will open. Feel this gratitude as if you had already received everything. Repeat, "I am grateful for what is already mine." Are you feeling this energy of abundance taking over you? Are you realizing that anticipatory gratitude completely changes your mental vibration? When you combine all 5 principles, strategic faith, right timing, consistent repetition, courageous action, and anticipatory gratitude, you create a powerful formula to break through any financial barrier. Now you possess the knowledge that can transform your financial life forever. Psalm 46 recited at 6 a.m. isn't just a prayer. It's spiritual technology that reprograms your mind for abundance. Napoleon Hill proved that the principles work, and now you have the key to apply them. But here's the truth few understand. Knowledge without application is just entertainment. You can watch 1,000 videos about prosperity, but if you don't wake up tomorrow at 6 a.m. to recite Psalm 46, nothing will change. The power is in practice, not in theory. Your financial life is about to transform, but that depends on a decision you need to make now. Are you going to be another person who watches, gets inspired, and then forgets? Or are you going to be someone who applies, persists, and reaps the results? Right below, I choose to break all financial barriers with unshakable faith. This declaration is more than a comment. It's a public commitment to your new reality. When you write this, you're activating a powerful force that will sustain you through the next 21 days of practice. Subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to continue receiving the secrets of biblical prosperity. Every video you miss is a growth opportunity you're letting pass. Share this content with someone who needs this transformation, because when you bless others with knowledge, you multiply your own blessings. Remember, tomorrow at 6 a.m., you have an appointment with your new financial life. Psalm 46 is waiting for you. Your prosperity is waiting for you. The only question that remains is, will you show up? The decision is yours. The power is yours. The moment is now.